My name is Ishan, and I like to introduce myself as a passionate machine learning engineer who likes to play guitar. Um, I'll spend the first couple of slides giving you an overview who I am, and so that तुम्हें ना लगे कि कौन है ये बंदा जो सामने खड़ा है बोले जा रहा है ठीक. So I'll give you some overview. I will also tell you what I did when I was in college, and I feel a lot of these things you all can actually pick up and use it up. So my college is called as Bharati Vidyapeeth University. I graduated in 2022. 2022. I was an electronics grad. Unfortunately, half of my college went into COVID. So my only college experience was joining the college and then graduating the college. Nothing a lot in between. But something which I really picked up very fast was in the world of AI, everything is accelerated. How many of you believe that? Give me a cheer. In the world of AI, everything is accelerated. Learning is accelerated, generating videos is accelerated, writing code is accelerated, development is accelerated. How many of you believe that? Give me a cheer. Give me a cheer. See, that guy came over here, told you कि speaker है, be शांत रहना, don't shout much. I'm going to tell you, जितना chaos कर सकते हो, you can. ठीक है? Cool. Give me a cheer again. You all believe that, right? I realized that fact while I was in my second year. And that is when I thought of figuring out ways in which I could accelerate my learning as well. So that's when I started forming a lot of teams and competing in hackathons, which I think you should also start. Couple of platforms I would compete at, like Machine Hack, Analytics Vidya. These brands used to have weekly hackathons at that point of time. Then there was a platform called as Kaggle. It's world's largest ML hackathon platform. We got a medal there as well, but Kaggle competitions are generally like 2 months, 3 months long and very resource expensive. We also made up to like national rank 12 amongst like 10,000 plus competitors in the Amazon ML challenge. Every hackathon just made me iterate a lot faster and faster. Moving ahead, one advantage of when you are building things, okay, so I'm sure that a lot of you are builders. How many of you really want to build very good projects? Give me a cheer. How many of you? How many of you want to build bad projects? Give me a cheer. This guy over there was ready. Is that guy, whatever you ask him, he will be ready with a yes. Yeah. Building projects is cool. Okay. And a project doesn't have to be something which you spend months on. It can be something which you spend 30 minutes on, 40 minutes on, an hour on. Okay. So where I used to be stuck was that I would think that a project has to be something which has to be great, amazing, world-changing. And in that, I would be stuck. And at the end, I would just have 10 ideas of projects and implement nothing. With these hackathons, I started to get a lot of different projects and all. That helped me into building my portfolio. But your portfolio is as good as anything in your hand if you're not putting it out there for the world. So that's when I started posting a lot on LinkedIn, Twitter. I started to grow my following there. And as a result of that, I actually landed an internship at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA reached out to me while I was in my third year because of a hackathons solution which I had posted. They were actually looking for something like that. I also did a research intern at IIT Kanpur. And since my college itself, I had started working. A lot of you, how many of you actually want to take up remote jobs in the US and earn in dollars? No one? Cheer in the house? You can stay in India. What remote job basically means, you can stay anywhere in the world, but you earn in US dollars instead of INR. Okay, let me rephrase it for you. How many of you would want to stay in India and start making $100,000 a year in India from anywhere in any city you want to? पैसे के नाम लो सब बोलते हैं. Yeah, I started doing that when I was in my college, and I started collaborating and taking contracts with multiple different companies like Lightning AI, Weights and Biases. LansDB happened pretty recently, about a year and a half ago. And I also started working as the global brand ambassador for Jarvis Labs AI, which is one of the world's best GPU computing platforms, if you want. Did that for some time, and about in 2023, I happened to land at this very exciting startup. So I was looking for a place where I could basically get to write deep learning algorithms of my own. And that's where I landed up in this startup called as Rephrase AI. How many of you have seen this ad by any chance? That, okay, I see one person. Couple, 2, 3 more. How many of you know who the guy is? What if I say, okay, all of you are sure this is Shahrukh? Hosts, are you sure this is Shahrukh? Are you all sure this is, okay, can I have a cheer in the house if this is SRK? Sub confused. Folks, there is no marks for you being wrong today. Okay. Let us see if this is actually Shahrukh. It wasn't Shahrukh. Okay. I'll play the video later. But that was actually an avatar of Shahrukh. So what I could do, and I could still do, so please beware, is I could just record a couple of minutes of video of yours, and I could replicate an exact AI avatar out of it. Your voice will be cloned, your lip sync will be cloned, your expressions will be cloned. We did that with entire of Bollywood, entire of Indian cricket team, couple of international celebrities as well. And that's when the kind of quality that we had was so high that people started being, it started becoming very difficult for people to realize the difference between a real video and a fake video. And that was the quality that we had like 3-4 years ago. Because of that kind of quality, we ended up being acquired by Adobe, and we were the first to be acquired in India. Last year, anyone knows who Andre Karpathy is in the house? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? If I have to put it in a way, he's one of the gods of AI. He's not only one of the founding members of OpenAI, but he's also a previous director at AI. If you really want to get into the nitty-gritties of things, how things are working under the hood, and build things from scratch, if you want to clarify that, his YouTube channel is also called as Andre Karpathy. Please follow him, folks. So I actually went last year to the US for a couple of months, and he had come like for some hackathon or something, and there was like about a lot of things which had to be done so that I could meet him over there. I spent some time at Stanford, Harvard, MIT, meeting some researchers and engineers from there as well. But yeah, you should definitely look out for him. I also write Python packages of my own. This is the last one which I did. It's called as Mook. It's basically a face analysis package. Two USPs is that as of now, I believe it is one of the only ones which is providing you inbuilt parallel processing and an ensemble of deepfake detection models. And apart from my work at Adobe, I also run an AI community called as Outskill. So what is Outskill? Is basically we host a lot of different workshops across the world. Everything is online that we do. And as of now, like in the last 1 year, we have done 10 million plus live learners. That is something we have across like 150 plus countries. This is my QR code. It has the links to all my socials and also the code that I will be showing. So you can just take a picture and probably share it in the group as well. I will show it in the end as well, I think. Yeah. I'll just wait for a second. Cool. Coming back to the workshop, the reason I spent some time in introducing myself is I want you all to be able to connect to me in a better way so that you all start answering questions which I have now. Who here can tell me what is an LLM? And I'm not looking for a chatur kind of definition where you define it to me. I'm looking for a very casual definition. Okay, good start. Large language models. What is a large language model? Anyone? It's fine if your answers are wrong, folks. It's completely fine. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. He basically said that these are models which are likely to predict what is going to be the next. What is my next word? That is what a large language model is. Anyone else wants to try out? What is a large language model? It includes encoders, decoders. Lovely. Anyone else from this side? Wrong answers are also fine, folks. It's always better than no answers. Give it a shot. What do you think happens when you go on ChatGPT? Ask, yeah. Correct. So the thing about, if you look at this word LLM, the model part of it is basically an AI model. What is an AI model in a layman's term? Is basically I show you a lot of data about something. Okay, like each of your classes. Think of what class were you in the last one? Which class? No, not that class. Okay, I will rephrase it again. What is the last class you were attending in your college? Okay, electrical, let's say. He was getting into electrical. Let's say he does an entire semester on electrical engineering. Okay, what is happening? He's coming to the college every day, learning about electrical engineering, going back home, again coming the next day, learning about electrical engineering, going back home, and at the end of the day, he has his semester exams. Okay, more or less, you all relate to it. All of you are doing the same thing. That guy is like, no. All of you are doing more or less the same thing. Yes. Why are you confused? Are you coming here, attending a class, going back, and giving an end semester exam? Right? Can I have another cheer from the house if all of you are relating? Okay. If you understand what you have been doing, that is what exactly an AI model does. An AI model, before being shown a lot of data, knows nothing about it. So just like before coming to the attending these classes, you did not know about that. You spend a lot of time in these classes looking at data. Whatever you are learning today is data. And at the end of the day, how well you were trained at that data is was your GPA in whatever you were able to gain. Okay, so an AI model is something which looks at a lot of data, it understands patterns from it, and it is able to basically be able to generate outputs from it. So then what is an LM or a language model? It is a special type of AI model which can understand human language very well, the language which me and you speak. Okay. And then I think what is a large language model? The definition itself is clear. A model which is specialized on language models, but has been trained on very large amount of data and in itself has a lot of parameters. Now, my question to all of you is, what is the real world equivalent of an LLM? Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? What is, yes, an encyclopedia? Okay. What is the real world? If an LLM would have been like a real physical entity which lives in the world, what would that have been? Human. Okay. How many of you think it's a human? You can just raise your hands. How many of you think it's a human? Some people have kept their hands like this. कि सही हुआ तो यहाँ कर दूंगा, गलत हुआ तो ठीक है. Folks, be confident about. गलत दे रहे हो, it's fine. Just be. Okay, that guy is wearing gloves. Amazing. Okay. So how many of you think it's a brain? Okay. Nice. I did not expect it to be 50-50. And wait a minute. What do the other people think? Let me help you with it. The real world equivalent of an LLM is a human brain. It's not the human. It's a human brain which can process things for you. It can make logical decisions. It can predict the next word. Just like when I am saying, my brain is actually predicting what the next word should be, what the next topic I should be talking about. So that is a brain. Talking about AI agents, can anyone here tell me like what is your AI agent? We have a first bencher here. Yeah, tell me. Okay, yeah. He basically said that an AI agent is something which can perform one specific task very well. Anyone else? Anyone else? What is an AI agent, or like any product that you have used which you think is an AI agent? And yeah. LLM with a specific context. Okay. Anyone else? Give it a try. ChatGPT, amazing. That's actually a correct answer. Which makes our task easier. Okay, that does suit over there. Anyone else? What is an AI agent according to you? I'm not looking for a definition, students. Not looking for a definition. Chatbot. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Autopilot. Okay. Specialist in the field. Okay. An AI agent is basically an entity. A lot of times the terms AI agent and agentic AI are interchanged with each other. But an AI agent, you can think of it as an entity which has an LLM of its own, and it is supposed to perform a task, a particular task. So let us say if I consider all of you as my agents, okay, all of you agents, okay, I can see some people smiling. All of you agents have been given the task that you have to attend the seminar, and let's say you have to build something out of it. So that is going to be your task. Okay. So an AI agent is nothing but an entity which can perform a task. We will dive deeper into it. But the same question for an AI agent: what is the real world equivalent of an AI agent? A teacher. Okay. What is the real world equivalent of an AI agent? Yeah. Some sort of professional. Okay. What? Management people. There's someone said specialist. Yeah. Counselor. Okay. Anyone from here? What do you think is a real world equivalent of an AI? Yeah. Consultant. Okay. Yeah. Any person with a goal. Awesome. That's actually the correct answer. Can we clap for him? He started blushing, guys. Yeah. So this is actually true. The real world equivalent of an AI agent is actually a human. Now pause here for a moment and think about the things which I've been telling you now. What is the real world equivalent of an LLM? Are people still confused with that? What is the real world equivalent of an LLM? Can you answer more confidently? What is the real world equivalent of an LLM? Correct. What does a human need to function, process its logic? So does that mean every AI agent will need a brain? Does that mean every AI agent will have a brain of its own? Before I take you through the entirety of how most of the AI agent architecture works, here is something very important which all of you should understand. Okay. Think of it this way, okay, that I will give you an example as well. Every human has a role. That human has a role, he performs a task, and he uses a set of tools to perform that task. For example, for me, I am a machine learning engineer. My task is to write code, and the tool which I use is Cursor to write code. Can anyone else in this format tell me what is your role? What is it that you do? And what are the kind of tools that you use? And can be as simple as possible. I'm more interested in knowing what are the kind of tools that you use. Yeah. Correct? Anyone else? Yeah. PPT for project presentations. Awesome. Anyone? Anyone from this side? What are the tools which you use on a day-to-day basis to complete your role as a student? I'm sure there are a lot of, yeah. Google Colab, okay, very good. Gemini, okay. Windsurf. Any other tools that you all are using? Laptops, notebooks. Something as simple as being able to write on paper can also be considered as a tool. Notion, yeah. Of course. Keep this in mind, okay? What are the set of tools that you're actually using? Your pen is actually also a tool. Your notebooks, your whatever markers you're using, everything else, even you're using your phone, you're using web search in your phone to learn about things. You're using library, it's books over there. All of these things are tools, okay? So what we are going to look at now is what an overall framework of an AI agent looks like. Okay. As we have already reached on the consensus that an AI agent is an entity, a real world example is a human. Every AI agent needs a brain of its own. Okay. Is everyone clear till here? Is everyone? Can I have a louder yes? Yes. Cool. Class, please pay attention. Okay. So an AI agent has its brain of its own. Every agent has a particular task to perform. If it is an agent which is supposed to write code, the task will be to code. If it is an agent which is supposed to do marketing, the task is supposed to be performance marketing or any other thing like that. If it is an agent which can generate videos, the task is going to be generating videos for you all. If you are students as agents, your task is going to be study or like give exams or something of that sort. Now, you can have multiple agents together. Okay. Why do you think we don't just have one person in an engineering team do everything? Anyone wants to answer that? Why don't I just have one person in the engineering team? Why do I need like a separate front-end engineer, back-end engineer, maybe a separate DevOps, QA tester and all? I can just have one person. Yeah. More ideas, better solution. Okay. Overloading. Okay. Yeah. One person. Okay. Easy to find errors. Okay. Amazing. That's the actual correct answers. Please clap for him. Specialization brings the correct responses. If you have only one person doing everything in the company, from front end, back end, maybe marketing, sales, and everything, he might be a very good generalist, okay, but he might not be able to specialize into what has to be done. If you go on any web development agent out there today, the color of your websites is going to be purple. Does anyone know why? Whenever you try to build a website, if you have ever tried, give it a try. Whenever you try to build a website, the default color is going to be purple. It's not something which has been set. It's because most of the websites which were using CSS in the early days were purple, and the LLMs got trained in them, and the LLMs now feel that purple is kind of the default color. So you need specialists in your team. So let's say agent 1 is a specialist in front end, agent 2 is a specialist in backend. Both have their own tasks. Front end engineer responsible for building the website, backend engineer responsible for building whatever is happening in the backend of that website, all the API calls and all. And at the end of it, what you get is your response or is your final result. Okay. Now, will these agents or will any of these things work if I hire these people in my team, but I don't give them access to any of the tools? I don't give them access to internet, no access to a laptop, no access to my company database, no access to nothing. Just I hire two agents, 100K, $200K USD each. Will that company work? Why won't it? I've hired the best agents. We need? Okay. Anyone else? The reason it won't work is that every AI agent there actually requires a certain set of tools to work with. Here is one misconception which a lot of people have. Okay, let me ask you all. Do you think, okay, just raise your hand, how many people think over here that an AI agent is something, an AI agent is specially defined by something which has to execute tools? You can just raise your hands. An AI agent is an entity which has to execute tools. If it is not executing tools, it is kind of not an agent. Yeah, what? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that is what my question is. Do you all think over here that the ability of an agent or me being able to call an AI system an AI agent is defined by the fact that this entity is running tools at the moment? How many of you think that? 3 people, 4 people amongst? Okay, couple of them. The answer is no. The actual definition of an AI agent is something which can execute a task of its own. You will see the kind of agents that we build, and there are a bunch of different examples. The task of an AI agent is the definition of an AI agent is characterized by it is something which can perform a task, and it is not characterized by something which can just run tools. Okay, being able to run tools is an ability which agents have, but the definition of agents only revolves around being able to execute tasks. Now, what are these kind of tools these agents can actually execute? Something as simple as web search. How many of you are using ChatGPT over here? Okay. How many of you are using ChatGPT to complete your assignments here today? People are discussing, should we raise our hands or not? Okay. If you have used ChatGPT, you would have found that ChatGPT a lot of times searches the internet to give you the answer. Have you all noticed this or not? That is an example of a tool call. LLMs innately do not have the ability to search the internet for you. The LLM is just a brain. If I give you a brain out here, will it be able to drive a car? Unless it is in a human, unless it is in a body which can perform those tasks for you. So that performer is actually the AI agent. Another kind of thing is, let's say you want to book flight tickets. So there might be an API for, let's say, booking.com or ClearTrip. Let's say they have an API which can book flights. So this AI agent can actually use that API as a tool to book those tickets for you. Then you can have something as simple as the ability to read a file. How many of you here have uploaded a PDF to ChatGPT and tried to understand something? Most of you, right? That is also an example of a tool call. The LLM GPT cannot read files on its own. It is the tool calling which is happening in the backend, which is extracting that data from that PDF, feeding it to the LLM as plain text, and that LLM is basically able to understand what is given and it gives you your answer. Then it can be something as straightforward as being able to access the database of a company. Okay, so the LLM part of it is just for decision making. It can be something like, I can ask ChatGPT that, hey, I want to go to Mumbai on the 20th of January. Please find the nearest hotels from this particular stadium and book to a hotel for one person for me. This is the input which I give to the LLM. The LLM's job is first to decide what are the key inputs which the user has given. I've given the date, I've given the place, and I've given what I am actually looking for. Based on that logic, it will search for a couple of results and will filter out which of those results makes sense for us. But getting those results is the job of a tool. Okay. So class, do you understand the difference between an LLM and an agent's ability to call tools? Yes. Can web search be done by an LLM or an agentic tool call? Can reading a file done be by an LLM or an agentic tool call? Correct. It's like if I ask 3 more questions, everyone will give me the same answer. But it's just not enough. There is one very important component which I'm missing over here. Can anyone identify that? There's one very important component which I'm missing out here. That brain over there that you see in the diagram has everything which pretty much most of the things which a human brain can do, other than something. That brain cannot remember everything. My agent has Alzheimer's. He cannot remember everything. Okay, so what it is supposed to do is that we have to provide our agent with memory. Once you have all of this in picture, you have your large language model, which is your decision maker, which has your logic. You have an agent which works like an orchestrator. You have a set of tools which the agent can use to perform a task. And you have memory to remember what were the previous tasks you did and basically gain context from there. Okay, because if you don't have memory, it's like you come to classes for 6 months. Every day you come, every day you forget. I know it is true for a lot of you. It was for me, and but it can't work in the case of AI agents. Okay, these agents have to remember a lot of stuff. For example, if you build an AI agent which can trade in the stock markets, how many of you think it is going to be very important for the AI agent to have context of the previous trades and the shorts and misses it has made? How many of you think that? If I'm building and trading agent of my own today, it would have to have memory of its own. Other than if I am not giving it memory, it's as good as taking a bet that this will work upon. So these are going to be the core components of building AI agents for you all. Combining this all together, you all see the outer box out there? Are you able to see? Combining a bunch of AI agents is basically like combining a crew together. It's like bringing a crew of humans together to do a task. This is all together bringing a crew of AI agents to do a task together, and hence the name CrewAI. Story is over, class over, ghar chale. Did you all get it? The entire story that we were looking for over here for the last 20 minutes was to get to a point. Why CrewAI? This is the reason. You can have a crew of AI agents. These agents have access to multiple different tools. These agents have access to memory. And at the end of it, you can build your own crew to do something. Class, are we clear till here? Are we clear till here? Can I have a loud cheer from you all? This wasn't loud enough. Yeah. Moving on, we are going to dive a little into the syntax that you need to know to build agents in CrewAI. I will show a couple of slides. We'll talk a little about what are the different parameters you need to set, and then we are going to do a couple of projects over here. Okay. How many of you here are Python programmers by any chance? Okay. How many of you here are programmers, like you have programmed in any programming language? Okay. Some people are like half. Okay. How many of you are ChatGPT programmers? 5 coders? 5 coders for the win? Okay. Regardless of if you have not worked with Python, CrewAI is basically a package, which it's an open source package. It's written in Python itself. So, and it's being used in Python. But regardless of you know or do not know Python, the code has been structured in a way that if you have an experience in any programming language, you will be able to follow. I will explain it in a way that even if you have never programmed in your life before, you should still be able to follow through most of the arguments and parameters that we have over here. We will start with tool calling. Okay. In tools, in CrewAI, how are you actually defining these tools? So whenever you talk about tool calling, there are two ways in which you can go about it. One is called as the inbuilt tools. Okay. So CrewAI as a framework provides you a lot of these tools which are inbuilt in the library. So for example, this is how you would import an exa search tool. What is exa search tool? It is a search tool which can search the internet for you. So you see the parenthesis over there. I can just put any search query in that and it will search it for me. Instead of me having to go to google.com and search, I can just put it in my code, the query. So CrewAI provides you a framework, a sub package in CrewAI called as CrewAI_tools, where a lot of these different tools are already available. And you can just import any of these tools, like from CrewAI import exa search tool, and I have defined an object for the exa search tool. Clear, everyone? 2 lines of code? Yeah. To define an AI agent, it's also pretty straightforward in CrewAI. It's basically, again, an AI agent has its own brain, has its own LLM. So we need to define the LLM. So from CrewAI.llm, I can import LLM. There are 2 ways to do it. There is a parameter called as LLM in the agent module itself. You can set that. Or you can have it imported from CrewAI.llm import LLM. In this case, I'm using the model GPT 4.1. Can someone name me a few GPT models other than 4.1 which you have used? 4.0, okay. GPT 5, mini what? 4.0 mini, okay. 3.5. Oh, you are from that era. 3.5. It seems like it was like a decade ago. Yeah. Oh, all of these models have different use cases. Okay. You can just set your name of the model, like just you go on ChatGPT, select on the drop down, you just put the model name over here, and you can set the temperature of the model. What does temperature mean? It is an extremely important parameter. Now, the closer the value of temperature you set to 0, the more definitive your model is going to be. The closer to the higher number you set it to, the more creative it is going to be. So if you are doing something like story writing, script writing, generating images, and anything of that sort, you would go with a higher temperature value like 0.8 or 0.9. If you're doing something which is very definitive, like coding or building a trading agent of your own, you would want to stay as close to 0.1 as possible. Now, to define an agent, I've just imported from CrewAI import agent. And in agent, there are a couple of important parameters. If you all can follow through this slide and the next slide, most of the code which I'm going to show you today for the next, I think, 15-20 minutes will become very easy. So please try to understand this. When you're defining an agent, there are a couple of different things. First is role. Who is the agent? The AI agent does not know who is he. He was not born with an identity. You are responsible to give him his identity. Sounds like a burden light, but you have to. So the role of this agent, let's say it is a research analyst, It can search the internet and do some research for you. The second thing is goal. Goal basically means what is this AI agent supposed to accomplish? What is this AI agent supposed to accomplish? In this case, the research agent is supposed to accomplish find and summarize information about a specific topic, whatever topic I give it. Now a backstory, okay. Backstory is also very important. Is it enough? Let's say a human spawns here today. I just tell him, hey, you are a front-end engineer. These are your tools which you can use, and you're supposed to build this website. Is that going to be enough, given that person is getting memory for the first time? So we will have to give him a backstory that, hey, you are this kind of a front-end engineer. These are the kind of designs you make. This is what you specialize at, and so on and so forth. This is where the specializing thing comes into picture. The more detailed your prompt in the backstory is, the more specialized and focused your AI agent will be. Okay, so you have your role, which is what is the agent? You have your goal, what is the agent supposed to accomplish? You have your backstory, that whatever is the backstory of the agent. In this case, you are an experienced researcher with attention to detail. Okay, so I've specialized it already that you have to pay specific attention to detail. And in tools as a parameter, I have passed the exa search tool, which we had defined in the last slide. Okay, so you can all visualize that diagram we had. Agent, we have defined the LLM, we have already defined the tool, and we have connected it that way. We have defined the tool, and memory I have set it to true for now. You'll also see exactly what memory does. But are you all able to understand how to define an AI agent in CrewAI? Are you all able to understand the syntax? Can I have a louder yes? Yes. Does anyone have a doubt till here? Something related to this slide, not something completely random that will we have jobs after 5 years or something like that. Okay. Are we clear, folks? Cool. Once you have defined your tools, once you have defined your agents, you can now define your task. In CrewAI, to do that, you can just import from CrewAI import task. In task, you have to describe what the task is about. In this case, research the latest trends on the topic, provide a summary. Expected output, you can signify it here. What is the kind of output you want to see? In my case, I only want to see the top 3 trending developments. Okay, it can also be like top outputs. I can only have one output over here. I can have respond in like a yes or no or anything of that sort. So you can do that over here, and you have to specify which agent is actually performing this task. Okay. So in defining a task, you have to do the description, what this task is about, what kind of output are you expecting, and finally, what agent is supposed to perform that particular task. Finally, once you have all of this set, you can execute it by running from CrewAI. You can import crew and you can create your crew. So in this case, I'm going to define all of the agents we have. How many agents did we define in these slides? Like in the code, how many agents did I define? One. That's why there's only one agent, the research agent. How many tasks did I define? That's why there's only one task over there. Okay. And we have already made the connection in our code itself that this agent is supposed to do this particular task. There can be a situation where my system has 20 agents and 20 different tasks corresponding to every agent, but I want to use only 4 of them. So I will initialize my crew with only those 4 tasks, and verbosity also will see, but you can just do crew.kickoff, pass your inputs on what topic you want to learn about. This is it. This is all you need to build your first agent. How many of you think it is easy? How many of you think it is easy till whatever we have covered now to be able to write your first agent? What do the others think about? Difficult. I think it takes some time to catch up with it, especially if you are learning this the first time. But I will show you a bunch of different examples and you will start realizing different patterns in that. Okay. So let's go on into looking at some code examples for this. Is this on? Yeah, I think it's now. Yeah. Anyone here who has used Cursor for programming? What do you all use? What do you all think about GitHub Copilot? Good. Folks, what do you think about Cursor? Much better? Shall we put you on a debate for here? I am on cursor side, by the way. Yeah. Cool. Let's get started. So we are going to start with a couple of beginner examples. What are these beginner examples? Less than 100 lines of code, very basic definition, one tool, one single agent, and executing that particular agent. Okay. Let's start with the web scraper. We have imported everything like we decided to. Like from CrewAI, we have imported the agent, crew, task, and all of that. For web search, we are using a website scraping tool. Okay, so we are going to scrape a website out of it, and we have loaded our environment keys. To define our AI agent, there are a couple of things which we were given. First is the role. What is the agent supposed to do? It is a website scraper. Second is a goal, that what is the agent supposed to accomplish? Like given a website, you have to scrape the content out of it, and a backstory. You do all of this, we'll come to all of this later. Okay, then you can define your task. I've defined it in detail that you are very good at basically scraping data out of a website. Expected output is going to be a summary of the content, and the agent is supposed to be the agent, which we have defined over here. And finally, to create the crew, I have passed one agent, one task, set verbosity to true, and I have put a website URL here. Let's try it on your website actually. Let's see what comes up. Okay. Let's take this URL. Let's put it over here. Let's see what comes up. UV run. Yeah. So I've started my agent. You can see agent has already started. The name of the agent is website scraper. The goal is going to be whatever is there on the website, just summarize it and tell it to me. Okay. Okay. So the first thing that comes up when I research about MSRIT is the fee payment. Folks, are you all paying your fees on time? Are you all paying your fees on time? There's an alert. Okay. There's some syllabus and all. Best infrastructure. Every college out there in the world is claiming that. 31st ranking in India. Okay, cool. This is what just basic information which was scraped from your website. The LLM will factor it in a way and get it in a final answer. Okay. So see, this is what the tool call can give us. Tool call has given it is in this format. Do you think this is a good way to present information? This is like some random text which I have thrown at you. This is like me in standard 5, how I would write answers. The LLM will transform this whatever you have scraped from the website into a final answer. Like Ramaya Institute of Technology, prominent engineering and architecture institution located in Bangalore. Key highlight, it has opened for admissions. Man, this college wants to keep taking people. Institution ranks 75th among engineering colleges, 31st among architecture, notable features and all. Okay. You see the difference which has come from this. This is your tool calls output, just a basic web scraper. But your LLM actually processed all of that information, gave it to us in a notable format, in a clear format. So that is the difference between just, you could have asked here that why did we even need an LLM in this agent? Like I have a web scraper tool. It just fetches the information for me. This is why. Okay. This is an example. If I see you another example of like a PDF summarizer. Okay. In this case, again, for a PDF search tool, CrewAI provides that to us. From CrewAI tools, I have imported the PDF search tool. I've defined it this way. Okay. And in agent, I've defined the role. You are a PDF summarizer. Given a PDF file, summarize whatever content is there. And I have given it an LLM. Okay. In task, a detailed description of what that particular agent is supposed to do. Provided PDF file, extract most important points, generate a clear, concise, and accurate summary. And expected output is going to be a summary of the PDF file. In this expected output, what you call also add is that structure the output in a way, start with introduction, then tell me the key points, then tell me the conclusion. Any of these particular formatting that you want, you can do it over here. And finally, which agent is doing that. And finally, I have initialized my crew, agents, and task, and I have run my crew. Do you all start seeing the pattern now, what I'm doing? Using CrewAI underscore tools to load the tool from CrewAI import agent to define the agent. In agent, I'm defining the role, goal, backstory, which LLM it is using, the task, the description of the task, the expected output, which agent is supposed to do that output, and finally defining my crew over here. Are you all able to follow through this particular pattern or not? Yes? You can just raise your hand if you're able to follow through. Otherwise, I can just go over it again. Okay. I will summarize it again. See, in this case of a web scraper, where I could just give the link of a website, it would scrape the content for me. There are a couple of things which you need to import from the CrewAI package. First is an agent, then will be the task that agent will do, and finally the crew. Okay. Whatever tools I'm using is present in CrewAI_tools, and it can be used to scrape the website. So there is already a tool which CrewAI is giving you. That entire functionality is inbuilt. Now to define things, I just have to call my agent, and you just focus till here. Let us skip these for now. What is the agent supposed to do? What is it supposed to accomplish? A backstory. Verbosity true basically means whether I want to see the intermediate outputs or not, or just give me the final output, and so on. For the task, I've written a detailed description on what this task is about. And expected output is the summary of the website's content and the agent. You see the PDF summarizer, the exact same thing we have done, but with a different tool. We are using a PDF search tool. Agent has been defined, role, goal, backstory, and LLM has been given. Task has been defined, description has been given, expected output has been given, agent has been given, and finally you can define your crew this way. So if you have more agents, so you can write basically agent number 2, and if agent 2 has a task, task 2, and this will also work. Now do you all see the pattern? What I'm doing? This I can't simplify it from here. This is like the most basic example which I could give you all. But what I would highly recommend is just try out these examples on your own. So I have a PDF over here. How many of you have heard of Transformers? Not the movie, the research paper. Okay. Can someone tell me what is a transformer? Okay. Anyone else? What do you think is a transformer? If this agent works, probably we all should know. If it doesn't, I should just close the Mac and we can get done with it. So what this agent is doing is that I have a PDF over here. Okay. I have this entire research paper over here. It is going through this entire research paper and it will summarize it for me. This same functionality, a lot of you have already tried using on ChatGPT. This is what is happening. ChatGPT is calling a PDF search tool on the backend and giving you the information out of it. Okay, so we have our result. PDF presents in-depth analysis of transformer model architecture, particularly focusing on its attention mechanism. It's talked about attention heads, size, impact, positional encodings. If you don't have context about it, that's completely fine. But if you have context about what this is, you would know that this is actually the correct result which it has generated. So in the last example, we saw how to scrape a website using an AI agent. In this example, we saw how to summarize a website, basically using summarize a PDF using an AI agent. Okay. Before I move on to the next example, I feel some of you are stuck somewhere. What is that place? Anyone wants to raise a hand? In whatever we have covered till now, are you all able to figure out the pattern that we have been doing? Anyone who is facing any difficulty till here, please raise your hand and let me know. So that if your question might help a lot of other people here. Okay, let's try a small quiz. How do you import? Okay, this is already in front of you. Yeah. How do you import an agent in CrewAI? What are the parameters you need? I don't think I need that. What are the parameters you need when you're defining an agent? Correct. Where do you import your tools from? CrewAI tools, right? What are the parameters you need when you're defining a task? Yeah. What are the parameters you're defining when you're defining a task? Expected output, description, and the agent which is supposed to do that. And finally, you just run your crew. That is it. That is it. As of now, you might be a little confused among the different parameters which are there. Once you start using and actually building these agents, things become a lot more clear for you. Let's try another one. Okay. And this is basically a multi-agent system in DevOps. Let's say you got an error. Okay. When you are building your systems, and let's say you're a DevOps engineer, you will see a lot of logs like this. This is not a real log, it's like a ChatGPT generated log. I also don't know what this exactly means. Just kidding. But this is actually an AI generated log. Okay, so you can see something was trying to load, some connection to database failed, there were some errors, there was a critical error, and so on. We have another Kubernetes log, some error issue which was happening, and all. Okay. What our DevOps agent should be able to do? First of all, these logs can be thousands of lines. And it becomes very difficult to manually be able to parse such long logs and be able to figure out what was the exact issue which brought your system down. So we can design a multi-agent system in which you could have like agent 1 just specializing in parsing such logs and understanding what was the issue in that. The second agent can be a website searcher or an internet searcher, which can basically, based on whatever error you have received, it will search the internet for similar errors and tell you that, hey, these are the probable things which you can do. And final agent will be a solution giver that, okay, this is what my log is, this is the error, these are the probable solutions, this is going to be my final solution. Okay, so 3 agents are going to be there. Agent number 1 will figure out what is the exact issue from this log file. Agent number 2, based on the error message, it will search the internet for similar errors which have come to people. And agent number 3 will be responsible for, given the error and the probable issues, which of these makes sense to my system. Okay, is this definition like clear to everyone? What are the 3 agents doing? We have 3 separate agents. Can someone tell me quickly what is agent number 1 going to do? What is the agent number 1 supposed to do? Finding the problem in the log. Yeah. What is the agent number 1 supposed to do? Finding the problem. Can you see the error as of now? What is the error? Agents, please help me out. What is the error? Yeah, there's some issue. We will see exactly what that is. What is agent number 2 supposed to do? Search for similar issues, just like all of you do. Like if you get some issue error in your program, you will first see what that particular error is, which part it is causing. We'll just paste it on, as of now, most people are pasting it on ChatGPT, but earlier you would have pasted it on Google. Okay, find out similar issues. Then based on whatever context you have for your project and the issues which have come up, you will come up with a final solution. So that solution giver is going to be your final agent, which is going to be a solution agent. Now what I have done, I've defined these things separately. So I have defined a file reader tool, which will be used to read this file. As I said, folks, can LLMs read files on their own? They can't. They need the help of a file reader tool to read files. So this text file, which I was showing you, this dummy log file over here, the LLM cannot read this. So I will give it access to a file read tool. This is also available in CrewAI tools. Okay. I have also given initialized a web search tool, the exa search tool, which we have been using till now. Okay. So these tools are defined. I will define my agents. In defining agents, what do I do? From CrewAI import agent, and from CrewAI.llm import the LLM. I have defined the GPT-4o model, and I have defined my 3 agents. Okay, so let us see what are these 3 agents. From now on, it becomes a pure game of being able to give better context to your agents, being able to write better prompts, and setting the right parameters. The parameters are the same, which we have been setting up. Okay, so agent number 1, again, what is agent number 1 supposed to do? Find the errors. So we are calling it the log analyzer. Okay. So the log analyzer, it has a role that you are a DevOps log analyzer. Your goal is going to be analyze the log files and identify and extract specific issues, errors, and failure patterns. We give it the LLM, and see in this case backstory. I've specified it particularly that you are a senior DevOps engineer with 10 years of experience in analyzing logs and all, and these are the things. Okay. Because there is a file read involved over here. I've given it access to the file read tool. Okay, this is done. We'll talk about this at the end. The second one, what is the second agent? Searching the internet with the error message. So this is called, we will give it the role of a DevOps issue investigator. Investigate identified issues by searching the documentation, whatever forums are there, Stack Overflow and all. It will go over all of that, the LLM. The backstory, you are a DevOps troubleshooting specialist. You see the difference? These are both DevOps engineers, DevOps agents, but in their descriptions, in their backstory, I have made them specialized in a way. This agent specializes in identifying critical issues. This DevOps agent specializes in identifying or troubleshooting specialist who can quickly find solutions for a technical problem. Do you see the difference in the backstory? Now have you started realizing why do I need to define a backstory along with just writing the role of it? Okay. And in this case, because we have to do web search, we are using the exa search tool. And finally, the last agent will be a DevOps solution specialist. Its goal is to be providing clear and actionable solutions with step-by-step instructions. Okay. And the backstory will be you are a DevOps solutions architect specializing in creating reliable step-by-step remediation plans and so on. So these are the agents which we have defined. Can you see the difference in just the goals, backstories amongst these three agents? How I have just used these prompts. The parameters more or less are the same. The remaining ones we will talk towards the end. But are you able to realize this pattern of the three agents that we have defined? Yeah. Then we will define our tasks. Now here it is more just about very detailed prompting, like analyzing logs. In this case, I've written detailed prompt that our analysis should read through the entire log file, identify the errors and all, and expected output I have also mentioned, give me timeline of errors. To investigate, I have asked it to search for similar errors and look for official documentation. And finally, to provide the solution, I've asked it to create a step-by-step plan. You can go over through the entire thing that is there, and then I can just initialize and run my code. So let's see. So this is my main file, which I will be running with the Kubernetes error, which we saw, this one. Okay. So I will just take this file and do uv run. Okay. Let's see what happens. Cool. So the task has started. First of all, the DevOps log analyzer, which is our error finder, comes into play. This is what it is supposed to do. Okay. Notice here that it is using long-term memory, short-term memory. I will tell you what that is as well. It is analyzing the logs. First of all, you see the tool output. I told you all that there is a specific tool for reading the file. This is what the tool has extracted after reading the text file. It is just the exact thing, but it has been read as text, and it can be passed on. Okay. So now our DevOps log analyzer has detected the issue in the deployment, and it has given me key error messages, timeline of the failure, and the root cause analysis is basically its inability to pull this particular Docker image. Once I have the exact error, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use my DevOps issue investigator to search the internet. Okay, so it will basically search this particular thing on the internet and give me solutions. It will run a couple of times, and it has found similar issues. Kubernetes image pullback error. It has some additional links as well, which you can just go and read. These errors have been searched from the internet based on the error my first agent figured out. And finally, the DevOps issue investigator is running. And finally, we have our DevOps solution specialist, which will give us a step-by-step solution plan. Like verify the image, verify even whether that Docker image exists or not, check if your basic authentication is working or not, and so on. On top of this, you could add a fourth agent, which could be your code editor or AI coding agent. That is also there in the GitHub repository, which I will share with all of you. And connecting all of this together, you can have a system with yourself, which can not only analyze these errors on its own, search the solutions, look for the best solution, and make changes in your code on your own. So that is also over here. Now you saw some outputs of memory coming over here. Short-term memory, long-term memory, entity memory. What are these things that CrewAI is basically maintaining? What I have done is that in this particular repository, I've given you an additional script. Okay. You can find it in utils as well. So in the script, it's called, I call it like a CrewAI memory explorer. This works across any, if you're using, I think CrewAI 0.148, this will work across any of the projects that you're running. What you could do is basically you could just do, 2 minutes. Yeah. So you can just do CrewAI memory explorer, and this memory file which has been developed over here, you can pass it on and you get your response. So this is your entire memory which has been stored. Okay. So this stores, first of all, your short-term memory. I'm not going now, scrolling up. So the short-term memory is my last execution. So if you are running this agent 10 times, short-term memory will only have access to the last execution which you had. Long-term memory will have access to all of the last executions, whatever were the inputs, whatever were the outputs, all of that will be saved, and you can use this to run over there. All of this code is present under my GitHub repository. The URL is already there in the QR code. And this is something, if you are going through this, do give it a star. What I am doing with this particular Vector AI Agents Lab is that I am building a lot of projects for beginner, intermediate, as well as advanced. So if you go on SRC, in beginner, you will find agents under 100 lines of code, single agent, single tool calls. In intermediate, you will find multi-agent systems with multi-tool calls. And in advanced agents, you will find like multiple agents, orchestration and all working on together. This is like a multi-framework repository. So you will have CrewAI, OpenAI agents SDK is supposed to be added, but LangChain, LangGraph, all of that is there. So this can be a very good starting point for all of you to get done with this. And yeah, with that, that was decoding AI agents with CrewAI. Thank you, everyone.